sing and have some fun. We're gonna hear God's word before we're done. We're gonna dance, we're gonna shout, we're gonna learn what it's all about. 'Cause God knows me and He loves me and He made me, and so we're free to sing and have some fun. We're gonna hear God's word before we're done. We're gonna dance, we're gonna shout, we're gonna learn what it's all about. Let's go!
Good morning, True Blessings. My name's Kelsey, and I'm so excited that we get to spend another week in the Big God story. I hope you've been enjoying all the many things we've been learning about God and ourselves and all of these stories. Before we get started today, who do we need to help? We need Hamilton. So when I count to 3, we're all going to call out as loud as we can, "Oh Hamilton, where are you?" Are you guys ready? 1, 2, 3. Oh Hamilton, where are you? Hello Hamilton. Friends, can you say hi to Hamilton? Do you notice Hamilton has something with him today? What do you have with you? Oh, is this your special blanket you sleep with at night? Friends, do you have a toy or a blanket that you sleep with at night? Well, that just makes me want to get really cozy when I see a blanket. So if you're at home, maybe you want to get a blanket and get cozy with this story. If you're at church, then maybe you kind of want to give yourself a hug and snuggle in as we talk about this story today. Well, today's story takes place a long time ago, where there's a little boy, and his name was Samuel. And Samuel didn't live at home. He lived in the tabernacle, which is like a church. And an adult lived with Samuel, and his name was Eli, and he helped take care of the tabernacle. Samuel was a very little boy, and something amazing was going to happen. Samuel went to bed one night. Oh, you want to get under your blanket? Samuel went to bed, and he heard a voice say, "Samuel, Samuel." Samuel popped up, and do you know what he said? "Here I am." So every time I say, "Here I am," let's all raise our hands like you do at school, okay? Here I am. So let's try it together. Samuel heard a voice, and it said, "Samuel, Samuel." And what did Samuel say? "Here I am." Very good. And he ran to Eli, and he said to Eli, "Here I am. You called me." And Eli said, "I didn't call you. What are you talking about? Go back to sleep." So Samuel went back to his bed. He put his covers over his head and he went to sleep. And then he heard a voice say, "Samuel, Samuel." Samuel popped up and he ran to Eli and he said, "Here I am." And Eli said to Samuel, "Samuel, I did not call you. Go back to bed." So Samuel was probably a little confused, went back to bed, put the covers over his head, and fell asleep. And then all of a sudden, he heard a voice say, "Samuel, Samuel." Well, he popped up, he ran to Eli and said, "Here I am." Well, at this point, Eli knew something amazing was happening. Eli wasn't calling Samuel. Who was calling him? God. God was trying to talk to Samuel, and Eli realized that. So he told Samuel, "The next time you hear the voice, say, 'Speak, Lord, I'm listening.'" So Samuel went back to bed, and instead of falling asleep, he waited. And sure enough, he heard a voice say, "Samuel, Samuel." And so Samuel said, "Here I am. Speak, I'm listening." And God spoke to Samuel and told him some very special things. And in the morning, Samuel shared all of the things that God had told him with Eli, because God was going to use Samuel as a prophet to share very important words to God's people. Do you know what, friends? God still speaks. God speaks to you and to me. Sometimes if we hear a voice in our heart that says, go and hug our mom and dad, or go help a friend who's sad, that's God's voice. And sometimes when we're dancing or at church and we're singing or we're listening to our teachers, we hear God's voice. God speaks to us through our family and friends, through music and dancing, and in our hearts today. Isn't that story awesome? I love that story about Samuel, and I hope you guys enjoyed it too. Well, Hamilton, thank you so much for your help this week sharing our Big God story. Friends, I love you so much, and we'll see you next week. Goodbye.